When you're expecting, you hear all sorts of new terms and things to think about. And one thing that can sound a little scary is a difference in blood types between the mom and the baby. But this is actually one of the most incredible medical success stories out there. What used to be a really serious problem is now just a routine part of prenatal care. So let's get into it.
So this is the big question, right? It's something a lot of intended parents and surrogates think about. I mean, it just sounds like it should be a problem. A difference in blood types? How does that work?
Well, let me just put your mind at ease right away. The short answer is a big, loud, confident yes. Absolutely. Thanks to some amazing science, what was once a real risk is now something that's handled completely routinely.
But just saying yes is kind of boring, isn't it? The really cool part is the how. How did we figure this out? So let's dive into the science that took a potentially dangerous situation and turned it into a standard, safe procedure. Okay, first things first, we've got to talk a little bit of basic science. Don't worry, it's super straightforward. It all boils down to this thing called the Rh factor, which is a key part of your blood type. So what is the Rh factor? It's just a protein. That's it. It's a protein that's either on the surface of your red blood cells or it isn't. You can think of it like a little flag on your cells. This simple on or off protein is the main character in our whole story.
And the difference is incredibly simple. If you have that protein, that little flag, your blood type is Rh positive. Most people are. If you don't have it, you're Rh negative. In the US, that's about 15% of the population. It's really just a simple on or off switch.
So how do you get it? Well, this goes back to high school biology. The gene for being Rh positive is dominant. We'll call it big D. The gene for being negative is recessive, or little d. Now, since you get one gene from each parent, you only need one big D to be Rh positive. The only way to be Rh negative is to get 2 copies of little d. And that simple genetic math is why it's actually pretty common for an Rh negative mom to end up carrying an Rh positive baby. And this right here, this is the crucial definition. When you have this specific situation, an Rh negative mother and an Rh positive baby, that's what doctors call Rh incompatibility. This is the scenario where a problem could pop up. So here's what used to happen. This process is called sensitization. An Rh negative mom is carrying an Rh positive baby. Now, during delivery, it's possible for a little bit of the baby's blood to mix with the mom's. Her immune system sees that Rh protein, that little flag, and thinks, whoa, that's a foreign invader. So it does its job and it builds up antibodies to fight it off. The first baby is usually totally fine. But the problem is, her body now has these antibodies ready to go, and they could attack any future pregnancies if that baby is also Rh positive.
But don't worry, because this story has a hero, and that hero's name is Rhogam. This is the solution that changed everything.
So what is this stuff? Rhogam is a special injection, and its whole job is to stop the mom's body from ever making those antibodies in the first place. It's a preventative measure. It basically tells her immune system, hey, stand down, nothing to see here. The best way to think about it is like this. Rhogam acts like an invisibility cloak. It goes into the mom's bloodstream, finds any of the baby's Rh positive cells that might have snuck in, and it hides them. Makes them invisible before her immune system even has a chance to notice they're there. So the alarm never even goes off. Okay, so we get what it is, but how does it actually work during a real pregnancy? Well, there's a super effective, totally routine protocol that protects everyone. It's all about timing. An Rh negative mom gets a preventative shot of Rhogam around 28 weeks into the pregnancy, just in case. Then, after the baby is born, they'll check the baby's blood type. If the baby is confirmed to be Rh positive, she gets a second dose within 72 hours to clean up any cells that might have mixed during delivery. It's a proactive, airtight plan. And I really need to stress this. This is not some rare or special treatment. In the US, this is a completely standard, expected part of prenatal care for every single Rh negative woman. It's just part of the checklist now. All right, now for my favorite part, the proof, the results. Let's look at the data because it speaks for itself, and it is just so reassuring. So check this out. Before Rhogam, about 15% of Rh negative women would get sensitized after an Rh positive pregnancy. 15%. That's a pretty big risk. Now, with the Rhogam protocol, that risk plummets to less than 1%. I mean, look at that difference. It's staggering. Let me put a finer point on it. When it's given correctly, Rhogam has an effectiveness rate of over 99%. That is just incredible. It's one of the most successful preventative treatments in all of modern medicine, a total game changer. So let's just boil it all down. The risk of that dangerous immune reaction, it drops from around 15% down to pretty much zero. The treatment itself is more than 99% effective, and it's the standard of care for every Rh-negative mom. The science is clear, the solution is powerful, and the problem is, for all intents and the purposes, solved. You know, the story of Rhogam is such a perfect example of a medical miracle that's become so routine we barely even think about it anymore. It's an amazing reminder of the progress we've made. And it leaves you with the final thought, right? What other standard procedures that we take for granted today were once considered these impossible, life-changing medical breakthroughs?